Okay, if I may continue, but let me say, of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of the many viewers and listeners on the various time zones around the world. You are now tuned to another episode of Voices. It's the 9th day of June. It's Friday. A lot of guys are saying, thank God it's Friday, it's payday, it's celebration. The atmosphere outside is a kind of overcast, windy, cloudy, and some people are breathing a sigh of relief. Oh, it's not another hot day in SK. And as Sandra, who just left, says there was a bit of rain last night, a little shower. And so we thank God for all blessings. And we're here. Another Friday in the Federation of SKN. I call it my double slice of paradise, St. Kitts and Nevis. And we do oftentimes experience some trouble in paradise. There are a lot of negatives going on around the Federation, within the Federation, and without. But here's what. We focus on the positive as best we can. We address the negatives because they can't be ignored. Did we give kudos to sponsors yet? Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of things today, we're going to pause to give respect to our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow!
Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
No, the real John of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, hosting today. And I want to say, well, good morning to a number of folks around the globe. We want to start with Mr. Chris Collins up there in Sheffield, telling me some provocative, so what I said, jokes. There's Rosemary Donald up there in New York. There's Brenda O'Neill over there in the U.S. There's Amber in Anguilla. We have a sister Henry here on the ground. We have Beulah down in Newton ground and tons of Chukai. Mr. Othniel Heiliger, we're going to say a special good morning to him. He was very instrumental in assisting us in, we'll get into that later on. Mr. Eugene Howell and all the folks out there, welcome to another episode of Voices. And what shall we talk about today? It's Friday. It's the 9th day of June. And do I need to remind you that we are in the Atlantic hurricane season? As I said, there are a number of topics out there on the ground that folks are engaging in. Lots of vitriolic stuff, a lot of blaming the situation that's on the ground. And there has to be dialogue on a number of things, but we try to focus on the positive. I think there's an issue with water up in St. Peter's and ongoing saga, so to speak. And that's one thing we have to speak about. It's a negative, but there are solutions that once we sit and we have dialogue, we can really address the main issues. I say a clip about the nations of Taipei donates 50 retired your bike to St. Kitts. And there's a caption that says that we accept garbage. Taipei donates 50 retired, I think they use bikes, to St. Kitts Nevis, and somebody's taken is that we accept garbage. This is the same Taiwan that has been so instrumental in assisting the Federation tremendously on so many levels. Scholarships to our young students, investment in the stadium, in the hospitals, in sporting complex, in donating vehicles to the police from time to time. But they're donating, I'm not sure what the purpose is for, but they're donating retired, so these bicycles have been used before, but they're retiring them. They're not retired, but retired your bikes to St. and Nevis. And somebody with a smartness sees this as we accepting garbage. How ungrateful can you be? Two things are happening here. You're either uninformed as to the tremendous benefits we've been having with Taiwan since 1983, when we were the first in the region to establish diplomatic relations with Taiwan. We've had other countries who have come on and then switched to go to support China, and they have been steadfastly supporting us. Next time you go to the stadium, look around and think, hey, Taiwan. That's just one example. There were times that we had so many vehicles donated, brand new vehicles donated to the Federation, Taiwan. Back in the day, just prior to independence, or around that time when it was after independence when we established relation with them, and they decided to, I guess on the request of the then government, to build a number of sporting complexes around the island and donate sporting gear. The opposition of the day was saying, we ain't want a ching-chang here, and football can't eat. Now today, because of the support. I mean, tremendous. But if you're uninformed and you don't know, sometimes you need to step back before you comment like that we are accepting garbage. That's just one of the things out there. We have a clip of persons. Let's see now. Honorable Marsha Henderson heads to New York despite 4 murders in 24 hours in her constituency. That's another take. That's another take on some person's view on this thing. And we have to be more adult. Now, we hear that the ministers of government are on a travel spree. Fine. But when you look at the context of what's happening in terms of tourism and the flights that we're trying to get to our federation, that benefits everyone. And if the minister and entourage have a meeting over there to go and deal with the issues and work out the details to get these flights to St. Kitts, one has to weigh that balance against just that myopic view of there are 4 murders within a constituency within 24 hours, and she's flying off to New York. That I don't support. But again, it's to show you how we react to things, our knee-jerk reaction to things when we are uninformed or we just being malicious, right? PLP leader Harris blasts government over crime spike. Is that to be expected? You will hear that the Honorable Sean Richards had his point of view, John Rollins had his point of view. Not Rollins, but John L. Powell would have had his point of view all on what's happening on the ground today. You have to react, but I'm saying above that, your calling has to be to come together, leaders, opposition leaders, all the stakeholders, and sit. The finger pointing is a given. That's a natural knee-jerk reaction. And families are hurting. For the people who are lost a loved one, they're hurting, and the emotions will be all over the place. They're allowed to react, but the adults in the room have to show that political maturity and put that country, that motto we talk about, above our own personal agendas. Sit together. Dialogue. Okay, we had the peace program. It had its benefits. It had its flaws. Let's see how we can craft it. Let's see if we can use elements of that to reach out and stem what's happening. I'm not sure if they're related, but that's the perception. So that dialogue must be led by people in the know. People who are involved with these programs and would have seen where it would have benefited and where there were challenges come together from the campaign trail. There's a certain mindset. Let's pull down what is and promise better. And based on that, whoever have the best or the better sale pitch can galvanize the voters to the poll, to get to the poll, and you'll get a certain result. When you're in that chain now, it's a different ball game. The campaign trail has a certain set of dynamics. And there, well, the various strategies employed in getting people to the poll. But once you get there, and you realize what you would have promised is not so easily accomplished. It's time to rethink, reset, and you're under the microscope. Everybody is viewing and watching to see how you perform. At the slightest slip, they'll be all over you. That's expected. So the onus on you, whomever the leader or leaders are, is to be able to speak to equity, speak to the challenges with honesty. Your advisors must be of the caliber and the integrity to advise you properly. At the end of it, you are the person in that hot seat. And you're the person who, as I say, are you in the kitchen, you're going to feel the heat. Right? And so we have to look at how we address the national challenges. NGO Coalition condemns surge in gun violence and murders, calls on Drew, so we'll be on the Drew or the Dr. PM Drew administration to adapt aggressive measures. What are aggressive measures? Increase policing. I saw a bit of the press conference held by the police head table, and speaking about some of the programs they would have had in place, the increased policing, somebody questioned some of the CCTVs, are they functional, etc., etc. And one of the things they spoke about was the stop and search. Stop and search, it's a convenience to a lot of folks, a lot of motorists at a certain time. But they were able to speak about how many unlicensed or legal firearms they were able to yield at certain time frames. And yet I heard somebody who's supposed to be a responsible, functioning citizen of the country saying he don't understand what he need for the stop and search. Because there's stop and search here, and this and that, and then. But that's not the thing. The police has a visibility that it's important that they be visible. And whatever the programs they are, it's not about getting 100% guarantee. I think they say their detection rate is about 30-something%, crime detection rate. So they cannot function without the assistance of the public at large. So as I was saying to Sandra before she left, we speak about the adage about it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah. It takes a whole village to address the problem that we have in an adult way. We got to show that we can rise above the emotions and the rancor and the this and that. And we have to. The solution lies within us. Oh, we sent a contingent to help St. Lucia with the crime rate. What about us here? We don't exactly know all that's behind that. And maybe the government or the relevant authority is supposed to speak to that, because it's a dialogue that we must have that would do away with the speculation. But the current image that we are enduring, it's very painful. It's a black eye on our sense of national pride. And when people speak out, whether you agree with them or not, they need to listen. You have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. That means you see as much as you talk. You listen twice as much as you talk. You reserve, let the people vent, and then if you have a response, you do so. Okay? We've seen marches by the church. We've heard about national days of prayer, and these things happen when we have this current state of affair that unfortunately may not be the last time that it happens within the Federation. Progress has a certain price. And you may say, well, it's generational because when, like my generation was growing up, we didn't have these challenges. Progress has a certain price, right? And in all this, I may sound like a broken record. I still say and I still contend that in every debate or dialogue, you must bring the DJs, presenters into this conversation. Music is a very powerful vehicle of influence. You, the parent, can say what you want. You, the teachers, it depends on what the kids are listening to. You can say, well, the DJs don't have to because they have social media, they have all the platforms on the telephones. Yes. But you then, DJ, have to take corrective measures and educate, influence the kids by the music that has positive influence on their life and their thinking, or the negative that's going out there, and say, oh, it's what the kids want to hear. That's on you. A child learn to savor the taste of porridge because you give them that. And so that they like porridge, but because you first introduce it to them. So it's a national debate that's needed that involves all the various elements of influence in our society. And I think, and I may repeat myself, you have to bring those DJs that play that genre of music that has that negative influence that we've seen the evidence of in other countries that have destroyed a whole generation. Now at the same time, here in SKN, I can clearly say that a majority and a vast majority of our young people are positively inclined. The academics of the charts, I'm very proud of them. There's a disparity between the male and female ratio. But that's part of reality. I've seen many of the young men with their pants down by the ankles following their girlfriends to school, to the college gates. They stop at the college gate, the young ladies go inside, and they emerge with their diplomas and degrees, and they're now the bosses. I'm proud of them because due diligence has its rewards. But the majority, the vast majority of our young people are positively inclined, and they will do us proud. We're very happy for that. At this point, we're going to pause for a word from our sponsors, and then we come back and I speak about Mr. Heiliger and all the folks who were part of this fundraising effort to get the shipment of medical supplies from the USA.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Must be 18 years and older to drink responsibly.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Once again, good morning and welcome back to Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program. And I was just ranting a bit a while ago. We're going to take a while before we open the lines to the public. I want to go back once again to this topic. Shortly before getting here, a young man stopped me on the street. He says, I am the person who spoke to you about the wheelchair for, called his name, but he couldn't remember his stage name. And I said, Pahola. He said, yeah. So he wanted to know what was happening, and I said to him, that should have been addressed since January. He said, yeah. I said, yes. Of the number of items that came here, one of those wheelchairs was designated for him, earmarked for him, and I would have taken an item or two to deliver to certain persons, but instructions were that one was for him. I'm kind of, the chaps seem not to know if that took place. We're now in June, and he's asking me if he got it. So the person whose name I won't mention, if you're listening, if somebody can reach out to you to find out, if you can say definitively that he got it or not, that would be great. If he didn't, an explanation would be warranted. You can call me personally, because that was one of the things that we discussed. That was earmarked for Pahola. So that's one thing. On the same topic now, for those who've listened for the past couple of weeks would have known that we were trying to get a fundraiser to get the shipment of medical supplies, wheelchairs, strollers, etc., bath assists, chucks, adult diapers, etc., out of New York. We would have learned that the shipment that arrived in December, though cleared from customs with the assistance of the government and disseminated to a person, was not paid for. We chalked that up to a communication snafu. The second shipment have been sitting now in New York warehouse to be shipped to St. Kitts. And I thought, since we were told about the first shipment that the government, I think Ambassador Naya's documentary gave assurance to Ms. Donald, the person who collected these items, that they would pay for the first shipment, totaling some 900 something US. Fine. The second shipment totals 1,138 US. And I thought it best, rather than wait for that processes for the government, which may take some time, to put out a public fundraiser via this medium. And I want to thank WINNM for not taking off my head, WINNFM, for not taking off my head for that. The response has been tremendous, to the point we're just about $800 short from a target, which is over 3,000. In the interim, while we're still collecting and their pledges still uncollected, I spoke to Mr. Othniel Heiliger, provider of, OJs. And immediately, he said what he would do was ask his wife to present a check to the local shippers, because I thought we could do it from this end. The terms are, to expedite matters, he would pay for the shipment, and upon collecting what I'm collecting from the public, I will reimburse him in order to expedite matters. And as a matter of fact, I myself was not supposed to be within the Federation today. I was supposed to be in Antigua, due to the fact that a connecting flight from here, well, to get to Antigua, which is 15, 20 minutes away, I would have to fly to St. Martin, overnight there, and then fly to Antigua the following day. So the organizers of the event I was supposed to be involved in had to recalibrate, right? So that was the issue. To get to Antigua from St. Kitts, you have to go through St. Martin. So we used to bemoan late. Late was always late, but the safety record was on par. Different story. So Mr. Heiliger and his wife decided they would come aboard and help to expedite matters, and they we checked Tropical Shipping. They said, no, they have no records. It has to be paid for at that end. And so we had a discussion, and they sent the sum of money via MoneyGram or Western Union. I'm not sure which one to use, but they sent that money to Miss Donald, and she would have sent me a copy of the receipt where she paid the $1,138 US to the shippers there. So that's in play. That is in play. But then shortly after that, she called me and told me something else. I said, you know what? Let's hope that they don't, as a condition, not send the shipment. But anyway, that's in play. And I'm happy to give credit to Mr. Heiliger for coming aboard to help to expedite the whole matter. If not, we would have had to wait until we collected all that we're trying to collect and send out. Due to Mr. Heiliger, his wife, and their good heart. That's already in place. And so I inquired this morning if there was a due date here, and they couldn't give me that information as yet. I had occasion to call the ambassador. I spoke to assistant, and they're supposed to get back to me. Right? So we are about $800 short. There are pledges out there that I have not collected. Having collected those, will be about $2,200. Mr. Vaughn, how are you doing? And you know what, I would have mentioned your name. But I went to see Sister Henry on 2 days ago. What was 2 days ago? Yes, I had an occasion. I went to collect the funds that she had. She would have made a donation. Somebody gave her a sum of $500 and asked that the name not be mentioned. She herself made a donation of $300, so I collected $800 from her. I collected on that very day a check of $300 from Mr. Gene Howell. So 8 and 3, that's 11. I have that. I have the money from Chukai, from Africa, from, who else again? Some other person. Oh, the check of $300 from the chap at the market in Sandy Point. And so we're getting there. A couple of pledges. There's a gentleman who's traveling from Canada. When he gets here, I'll have his. So we're doing fine in that regards. We're doing fine in that regards. So just an update. Okay? So culture, Chukai, Africa, all the folks on the ground, because you did mention culture, and you were inquiring why people in government office and this and that. People have goodwill. They have their heart in the right place, and they will give where they can. There's a lady who called me, Ms. Warner, and she explained this fact that she's a pensioner, but she's willing to donate $100 from her meager monthly earnings, and that has to be applauded. So that's in place. So I need a follow-up from the lady who would have been responsible for distributing the first items from the first shipment as to whether or not Pahola, I think it's Walters is his title, would have gotten the wheelchair that he has been long waiting for. So Chris Collins, you said that Miss Donald is a saint. I agree with you. And she is staying willing to go beyond all these challenges to assist at a different level, because these items that are heavy, they cost a lot in shipment. But there are people who are, I won't say desperately, eagerly awaiting this assistance. Life is hard. Somebody spoke about the minimum wage. I heard the PM myself on, it was Labor Day, addressing how many years they've not addressed the minimum wage, not increased it from $3.50, blah, 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 blah. And I was hopeful and encouraged that that would be something forthcoming ASAP. I saw a lady who was at the Pelican Mall some weeks ago, and she complained, this is like the third time I come in town to go to the office to get my name on the PAP thing, because they said we had to re-register, but she could hardly walk. And she says, it's small, but it's needed. Earlier on, Sandra was alluding to the fact that that was something that people were dependent on. It helps in so many ways. And because of the re-registration, some people have to come up, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what's going on with that, but the bottom line is when people are in desperate need, things happen that should not. Their sense of pride and dignity is affected, and things that they would not normally do sometimes necessity. So there we go. The lines are now open for those who want to call in and weigh in on whatever topic. We have a variety. Those who are critiquing the fact that the government sent, as they put it, let me see if I can find the headline, a contingent of police to St. Lucia at a time when we needed it here in St. Kitts. Sometimes the story behind the story is a whole different thing. Or St. Kitts and Nevis deployed security forces to assist crime fighting in St. Lucia despite worrying upsurge in crime on the ground. I won't really critique this. This was dated some weeks before we had the current situation, I won't say explode on us. There were times when we've depended on regional security forces to assist us here when it became necessary. So we have to give and take a little and try to understand that we are our brother's keepers on many, many levels. Okay? We can't operate in a vacuum. When we have a challenge, ask people to come and help us and not reciprocate when they too need help. And this tells you to some extent is not just a local problem, it's regional. But we are concerned with what affects us here primarily. We understand that. So sometimes you don't have the luxury to step back and objectively assess the situation. Emotions are in play. Right? And that sometimes clouds our judgment. We say things that we know we shouldn't say, and then later we understand, it was just emotion talking. But we empathize, we sympathize with the families who were affected. The sense of fear we had some years ago that was dissipated, and a lot of folks gave credit to the peace program and the benefits of it. Some critique the fact that these, and they labeled them, were in business now with car rentals. Some spoke about the fact that some of them were displaying monies and guns and boasting about this and that. So there were challenges. That is why I would advocate that all the folks who are involved in those programs take the good, the bad, and in between and come to the table and realize it's not about political gain. It's not about political grandstanding. It's not about who used to do it, who have a better program. It's about coming together and getting consensus on what is the burning issue affecting the lives and livelihood of our people. As I said, somebody sent me a item that spoke about, let's see if we can find it, a travel advisory. I don't know if it's official, but that's going to be up there where people take whatever. And it comes from, let me see, you can bring up the headline, South Florida Caribbean News. South Florida Caribbean News. And you may say, well, you don't know if it's authentic or not, but it's the reality of what we can face. And it reads, travel advisory issued for travel to St. Kitts and Nevis. Can I highlight it here? No, it won't. So I have to put on my squints. Bastia, St. Kitts, United Kingdom, Canada, and United States travel advisory warn their citizens visiting St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm squinting, guys, of the occurrence of serious crimes, including murder and armed robbery and petty street crimes such as automobile breaking and burglary. America, Canada, and British citizens were also warned not to have valuable and unsecured hotel rooms or in rental homes. Okay. Some months ago, some lady in the U.S., or a lady in the U.S., put out an article about high crime to St. Kitts, and I blasted her. I'm thinking, well, how dare you? As a matter of fact, a similar example, I was in Anguilla some time ago, and some chap decided to bash St. Kitts. Oh, I don't want to go to St. Kitts because there's a lot of crime up there. And I asked him, where you say from? Chicago? So you feel the need to defend your national pride. So when a few weeks ago, a month or whatever, this lady wrote an article about crime in St. Kitts, and what's happening now was not happening then. I want to know what she's talking about. But the current reality is that the item I just read becomes part of our expectations, because travel advisory to St. Kitts, a tourism destination, and these countries are our major source markets in terms of tourism, they become part and parcel of what happens. And so we've had in the past cruise ships cancelling or avoiding certain destinations just because of this, until they were given assurances that the crime rate would be under control. As we stand right now, we're grieving, we are embarrassed, we're trying to find solutions, and there are certain elements of the society who are not really solution-driven, but again, about the finger-pointing and the defending. They become apologists for governments. For the many years I said I hate this government, I was never out there apologizing. You know, we are supposed to be an adult people. We are supposed to be one people. But fractions, we give into the fractionized, shall I create a new word? It's really, really bad for people, but we're hopeful. We're hoping. We're prayerful. Nobody wants this to happen. We lost an icon. We lost other lives, etc. And there are those who would have criticized the PM's short presentation. I don't know. People expected more, because in time of like these, you expect your leaders to step up to the fore and give you whatever assurance they can. From the short speech he gave, I don't think many persons was assured. The police on the following day do the press conference would give some more information and such. So we need leadership at a time when leadership is most required. I pause once again for a few words from our kind sponsors. Let me come back and we open the lines to see if we get the dialogue continuing.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building our strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
The real gen of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Hello there. Welcome back to Voices. I don't remember Calypso Reggie. Hello there. Okay, so we have a little discussion ongoing. We seem to have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hello.
Good morning. You're live on Voices.
Yeah, good morning, the King. Welcome back from St. Martin and Antigua.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Right?
To get to Antigua, 15, 20 minutes away, I have to fly now through St. Martin, overnight there, and then travel to Antigua next day. Anyway, your dime, your call.
You look at St. Thomas you're coming from,
Yeah,
where you can pass over St. Kitts, go Antigua, go down Dominica and come back.
Yep.
Now, this last thing that I heard you said, with the those big countries that send out the advice to the citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you something. That advisory is something like the bite off ear advisory that the mother had get from his son when he was about to be hanged.
Yep.
You know about it, right?
Lord Bueno sang the song.
Okay. When he was a young child doing wrong, and his mother would let him get away with the wrong things that he was doing, instead of she corrected him, she laughed and kicky and pay no attention.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he did his Maldau, and his Maldau result was to hang.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in the last hours, I understand that they just ask you, they give you whatever you request. He said he would like to speak to his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when she went to see him, he said, Mama, come here, I want to tell you something in your ear. I want nobody here. Come, let me tell you. And she put your ear close to the thing, biting, and he bite off your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yam him off. And he said, if you had talked to me when I was young doing these negative things, I would not have ended up in here going on the galleys.
Yep.
So saying that to say this, with those big countries that advising people not to come here, be careful or whatever, to come here and think it. When people do certain crime, I like what happened to all those people who get innocent death just because of people who do not decide to comply with the laws of the land. And the government ready to punish them, or the kind of punishment we have for them.
I see where you're coming from.
They are the ones who can send them and say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Amnesty International says inhumane.
Oh, you can't do that. So, now you see that is the bite of your advice.
I see what you mean. I made a connection now.
So that's why you see all these crime you're getting away, because they're up there holding these small islands on your hand from bringing up the child anyway. Suppose they go whining, disciplining the child when they do wrong.
Well, even that now, corporal punishment, you cannot carry out in the schools. And kids say, you can't hit me because, and if you, the parent, actually, in the U.S., discipline your child, you go in jail. Here in St. Kitts now, it's become the norm. We're adopting these social norms that don't really apply to our culture.
Right now,
and we told, when you hit your child, it's like going back to slavery, this and that and that. So you want to take some part of the Bible when you want, and reject the others, where it says, train a child in the way it shall go, and spare not the rod, and spoil the child. There is a time and place for everything.
That's right. But you see what happened now? Everybody copying suit from overseas. And all of a sudden now, everything is, you violate the child right. You violate the right by doing the correct thing that you're supposed to do to correct them. Anyway, I wouldn't hold up the line no more longer. Let somebody get a chance to come in.
Much appreciated. Got your point. But
thank you
yes,
very
sir.
much, man.
Listen up there. Some time ago, Dr. Harris was on record of saying that when you, child, get in trouble, do not come to him for help. Because it's your responsibility to train your child, blah, blah, blah. And if you talk to your child and your child get in trouble, do not come to him for help. And people were criticizing him, but he's right. When your child get in trouble, that's not the right time to come to me for me to circumvent the police procedure to get them out of trouble. That's your responsibility to make sure that your child is equipped with the proper whatever to go up to be a productive person. We have the influence of peer pressure. Children go astray. But he's saying when your child get to that stage and the police would have taken matters in their hand, don't come to me hoping that I will get you bail or get you. And he's right. You know. So it's an all society effort. Some years ago, let me tell you something about the music that we play that affects our children. Some years ago, I, in my happy self, wrote a song called The Price of Saltfish. Humorous and funny. Things will change when the price of saltfish come down. And this and that. And Ingrid Charles Gums and I believe Sister Henry pulled me up on that. I thought the song was funny. What was wrong with the song? They said, well, Socrates, all the vendors in the song is female, are females. And I paused. And they're right. You as a songwriter, as a Calypsonian, and you're putting songs out there that would influence the public at large, you have to be careful about the content. And she saw the song as denigrating women. I called the names of certain females in the song, and they said to me, all the vendors in the song are female. And that checks me. I have yet to put out a song of that nature. I have sung other humorous songs. Last year I sang Salty, Fatty and Sweet. And people took certain connotations, but it's really about a health issue. So when I have a song that speaks about cock it up and bend over and this and that, and I give to Didi to play, they should not play it. First thing, they should say, this is disrespecting women. And once you start with a lack of respect for women, the whole society falls accordingly, because your mother, who's supposed to have this image of the homemaker and raising the children in that manner, if you can disrespect her, anybody else can. And that is what a lot of the presenters, I don't care who vex with me, our children are being influenced by the wrong kind of music or the wrong messages in a certain genre of music. Back in the day, Calypsonians sang songs that were degrading women also. But as we educate ourselves, we should know better. So these songs that, what's the word I'm looking for? Promote violence and disrespect of yourself and women in this, that, and that, and it becomes something that you go into, and we say to ourselves, oh, it's what the children want. It's what you win them on. So you did have a responsibility. You sit in a chair, you have an awesome responsibility that you do not recognize. You are helping to mold society. You know? On a certain radio station, on certain days, they play a lot of humorous songs from Trinidad, and people like that. You know? And there's an appetite for that. But there's a generation that has an appetite for these songs that promote vulgarisms and violence and this and that and that. We have a young going artist now talking about put your gun in the ear and this and that and that. You cannot do that and then come back and say that society needs to find solutions. It starts with every one of us. It takes a village to raise a child. Right? Let's see what Chris Collins have to say. That ain't gonna... Okay. Let's see my friend Chris Collins. Oh, Chris Collins, he's a world-renowned photographer. He's also a radio presenter, DJ. And he's saying, that ain't going to happen on Vibes. I promote a positive message. Ain't in them wordlessness. Last week with the word came up wordlessness. And it's a fact. I don't have to be right. I don't claim things, but I've noted for many, many, many years, right, that, and we know this. We know this. If I'm going to tune in, okay, let's take a call, Chris. Caller, you're live on Voices. Go to caller, you're live on Voices.
Good morning, Socrates.
Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Totally in favor of all what you have said.
I'm encouraged. Thank you.
I would like to call on the government, the present leaders, to develop the political will to ban all these vulgar songs from coming in the country. regardless of what, who it please or not please. Put a total ban on all these vulgar garbage that is being imported into the country. That's my message to our political leaders.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, the answer to that, some people would have, we got about 3 minutes before the midday newscast. The response to that is that they don't need to play the songs for them because they have access to it on their phones, which is true. They can go on YouTube or FB and get all these songs and all that negative content. But then your job as DJ is to correct that. Create the dialogue and speak to them on a daily basis. These songs that with negative connotations, they're not healthy. Socially, they help you with a certain mindset. So your job is to address the damage. You have to know your role. You have to know your role. So whereas they don't have to listen to you on the radio, and the government cannot put a filter on that kind of music because it's open sesame, open access via the smartphones in our children's hands. They also listen to certain radio presenters whose jobs now become corrective in speaking to the youth. Hey guys, you can do this, you can be a positive influencer, your future is so on, so on, so on. And even in school, have songwriting competition with positive content. Reach them. We can. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to correct all these anomalies that's going on in our federation. We can do it. So I want to thank you, sir, for that call, for the outrage you would have expressed in your opinion. You think the government should reach out and ban these songs. They don't have the power to do so. Still, the presenters are in position to speak to the nation because these songs that they play, believe it or not, music is one of the most powerful influencers for any country, anybody, anywhere. And our youth are more susceptible to these messages. Subliminal messages are the ones who are most at risk. So when you sit in the chair and you're a presenter, speak to our children, speak to the future, speak to the positive. All right? At this point, we pause for WINNFM's midday newscast, and we will continue the debate right after.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, By land, sea, or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories: death of Vaughn Paris under investigation. Police find illegal gun in Spooner's Keon. Kieran Winter sentenced to prison for 1 year on 2 counts of larceny. Kevin Williams charged with larceny. Ishan James receives 5 months in prison for wounding. Former BVI premier may be in legal jeopardy after former managing director and her son plead guilty to their charges. 40 people, including 22 children, removed from cult-like church. Internationally, former U.S. President Donald Trump faces a new legal challenge, this time from the government he used to lead. Now the details. The police have provided details surrounding the murder of a young man now identified as Vaughn Paris, 31, in the Dorset area on June 6th. According to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, the incident occurred on June 6th between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Reports of gunshots being heard in the area of Dorset Park were made. Upon arrival, officers found Paris lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds about the young man's body. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. During what police described as a routine mobile patrol and search along a road in Spooner's Keon, a weapon was found between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. on June 5th. Authorities found a bag concealed by household debris that contained one .38 special revolver with several rounds in its barrel. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is asking the public for cooperation and collaboration to assist with solving crimes. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact their nearest station. His Honor Mr. Reynald Benjamin sentenced Kieran Winter to 12 months in His Majesty's prison for 2 counts of larceny. The crimes were committed on January 27th and 31st, 2023, respectively. Winter was sentenced on June 6th, 2023. Winter was given 12 months for each count. The courts determined she served them concurrently. The police have indicated that Kevin Williams of Fort Thomas Road was charged with larceny on June 6, 2023. The offense was committed on June 3, 2023 at the West Line bus terminal. More on this as information becomes available. Ishan James of Upper Keon was sentenced by His Honor Reynald Benjamin to serve 5 months in His Majesty's prison for wounding. The incident took place on May 21, 2021. In regional news, former BVI premier may be in legal jeopardy after former managing director and her son plead guilty to their charges. Primetime Caribbean has that report.
Former British Virgin Islands Premier Andrew Foy might now be in more legal jeopardy in his narcotics trafficking and money laundering case. Though 3 people were initially charged, as of tonight, he now stands alone in attempt to defend them. This after former managing director of the Ports Authority, Olinvin Maynard, has made moves to plead guilty to the charges. Maynard's filing, made on Tuesday at the federal court in Miami, comes days after her son, Kadeem Maynard, aka Blacker, also made the court aware of his intention to plead guilty in the matter. In the filing, the senior Maynard also had her change of plea hearing set for June 12th alongside her son. The plea deal of the Maynards will require them to cooperate in the prosecution of Foy, whose jury trial is set to begin on July 18th. Former Speaker of the BVI House of Assembly, Julian Willock, has stated that meantime that Foy did not get adequate support from the government when he was arrested on drug-related charges in the United States last year. Willock said that this would not have been the case if the Virgin Islands had an office that had specific responsibility for diaspora affairs, including assisting residents who get in trouble abroad. When Andrew Foy was arrested last year, the government immediately took steps to replace him as the territory's leader, while elected leaders shied away from commenting on the matter. One public officer, Najan Christopher, was charged with breach of public trust after Foy's arrest because she allegedly wrote a letter to the U.S. courts stating that Foy had diplomatic immunity and therefore shouldn't have been arrested. Since then, Foy has been bound to an apartment in Miami awaiting trial.
"40 people, including 22 children, removed from cult-like church." Television Jamaica has the story.
22 children have been removed from the controversial Yahweh Church in St. James today, following allegations of child abuse and child marriages.
The multi-agency operation has sparked fresh concerns over why the cult-like facility is still in operation.
But as Kalisha Williams reports, the Office of the Children's Advocate says due process has to be followed.
Problems in Paradise. Security forces swooping down on the Baif Yahweh in Paradise District, St. James, Wednesday morning. 40 people, including 22 children, were removed from the facility. Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison explained why.
So this morning really was about doing the necessaries to have the inquiries made and thereafter to determine what happened. There were some children who were processed, having been taken from the compound and placed before the court so that the court could make an inquiry, and we will determine the next steps after that process goes through.
This is the same facility that was raided in 2019 following reports of child abuse and child marriages. As for Wednesday's operations, we were told the concerns are similar to 2019.
But I want to stress that these are allegations at this stage, and so there are no findings or firm positions. It's really just that, of course, if that kind of report comes to the fore, there is an obligation on the stakeholders to make the relevant checks. And so that was what this morning was about.
However, the operation conducted under the watchful eyes of residents only reignited concerns about whether the authorities have been monitoring the facility and why it is still in operation. And even more intriguing, the church is in the same community where now deceased controversial pastor Kevin Smith had his cult-like church.
I'm always wondering what are they afraid of stepping in. Because when they step into Pastor Smith, he was just supposed to go next door and check what is going on over there as well. And you need to talk to them and tell them to come and make regular checks, because after today, it's going to up my game.
While residents have no proof of the events happening at the church, we were told the followers have always acted strangely.
I've been living here maybe for 2 years now, and now and then I'll see like the older men walking with the girls, maybe 12, 13 years old, and they just walk and they look down, they don't say hi or anything.
Meanwhile, Mrs. Gordon Harrison explained that the authorities can only move when they have intelligence.
Because people have certain fundamental rights. People have certain decisions that they take in terms of parental responsibility on how they rear their children. So unless you have a basis upon which to shut down, so to speak, or to separate families, that's not something that's done very lightly at all. And so the responsible thing is that in the face of allegations, and what you have to remember is that the persons on the compound are saying that these allegations are not in fact true.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
And the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, says the children removed from the church are being accommodated at a safe location and will be provided the necessary intervention soon. They are between 1 and 17 years old. Acting CEO of the agency, Michelle McIntosh Harvey, says the children were in need of care and protection as stipulated under Section 8 of the Child Care and Protection Act, CCPA. She also implored all citizens to report known or suspected cases of abuse to 211 or via WhatsApp at 876-878-2882.
We now bring you these international reports.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump was told to show up at a federal court next Tuesday in Miami as he faces a second indictment, this time over his handling of classified materials after he left the White House. And this marks the first time in American history a former president has been indicted on federal charges, adding to his legal troubles as he runs for president again. The indictment remains under seal. Sources say Trump faces at least 7 criminal counts in the federal case. However, Trump lawyer Jim Trusty told CNN charges include conspiracy and obstruction of justice, among others, and that he expects to see the charging document by Tuesday when Trump goes to court. Trump, who leads the GOP in the polls, targeted the Biden administration in a video posted on Thursday on his social media platform.
I'm an innocent man, I'm an innocent person. Our country is going to hell, and they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI.
Around 100 documents bearing classified markings were recovered from Trump's Palm Beach home last August. The Justice Department was looking into whether Trump unlawfully removed them when he left office in 2021 and whether he or others tried to block the government's investigation. On Thursday, reporters challenged Joe Biden about the Justice Department's independence in relation to the case.
I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do, or else to bring a charge or not bring a charge. I'm honest.
Following news of the indictment, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, other Republicans such as Ron DeSantis, and billionaire Elon Musk tweeted messages to support Trump. Hofstra University constitutional law professor James Sample says it's likely federal prosecutors will bring charges that are serious and easy to prove. But he also said that doesn't mean Trump's poll numbers will suffer.
And in fact, it was striking to witness that when he was indicted in New York on the charges arising out of the Stormy Daniels affair and the classification of those expenditures, his poll numbers actually improved. Now, is that causation or is it merely correlation? It's very, very difficult to say. But one thing that we have learned over the last couple of years in particular is that the normal rules, the normal political assumptions that apply seemingly don't apply in the same way to Donald Trump.
Trump is the first former president in U.S. history to face criminal charges. That's after he pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records linked to hush money paid to porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. He also faces a much more serious criminal investigation by a county prosecutor in Georgia relating to his efforts to undo his 2020 election loss in that state.
Saudi Arabia and the US say the warring sides in Sudan have agreed to a nationwide ceasefire, but only for 24 hours starting on Saturday. It's the latest in several attempts to stop weeks of fighting between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. We're going to go live to Heba Morgan. She's in Omdurman, across the Nile River from Khartoum. Let's talk about the ceasefire first of all. 24 hours does not seem like a very long time. What more do we know?
Well, what we do know is that this 24-hour period that was proposed by the mediators, Saudi Arabia and the United States, for the two sides, the two warring sides, the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, is a form of confidence building. That's the statement. That was what was stated in the press release by the Saudi Foreign Ministry. Now, it's supposed to be similar to the previous ceasefire, where there should be no artillery strikes, there should be no airstrikes launched by the Sudanese army, there should be no fighting between the two sides, and no military gains made by the two sides. If the two sides are able to implement that, then that, according to the statement from the ministry, would pave the way for further talks between the two sides, and it would also allow for humanitarian assistance, much needed humanitarian assistance, to reach those who are trapped in areas of conflict around the country. Now, the statement also makes it very, very clear that should that be violated, like the previous ceasefires are violated, then the talks that are ongoing in Jeddah would come to an end, because there's been so many frustration, as per the statement, that both mediators are frustrated by the repeated violations by both sides, and that they're not ready to continue watching more violations as they try to bring an end to this conflict between the rapid support forces and the Sudanese army.
Hey, but just as you've been talking to us, we've been looking at some of the pictures from Wednesday about the fighting that had been happening in Khartoum, and I think I can see some smoke rising on the horizon behind you. Bring us up to date with the latest on the fighting.
Well, it's not stopped a single day since it started in mid-April, even during the ceasefires that were agreed upon by both sides for a period of 7 days and then extended for another 5 days. Now, there were reports of artillery being used around Yarmouk in the southern parts of the capital, Khartoum. That's around a weapons manufacturing company that belonged to the Sudanese army, and which on late Wednesday, the RSF was able to take control of. There's also been Antonov planes flying overhead from the city of Omdurman, heading towards the southern part of the capital, Khartoum. And we were able to hear heavy artillery being fired here in Omdurman in various directions. We know from residents in the southern part of Omdurman city that there's been airstrikes, heavy artillery against supposed RSF positions. People in the north, also in the northern part of the capital, also reported hearing heavy artillery and gunfire between the rapid support forces and the Sudanese army. So fighting is very much ongoing. Residents have very little faith that this ceasefire would actually stop the fighting, even briefly, even if it's a period of just 24 hours.
Yiwu is a town of trinkets. Billions of cheap consumer goods can be found here all year round. Huang Yunzhi's family has sold decorations for more than 20 years. He's relieved the logistical problems of running a business during the coronavirus pandemic have ended. But still, the mood here is less than festive.
When the government totally cancelled the pandemic restrictions, I became very confident. But recovery is slow, which I didn't predict.
Economists say China's economic rebound has peaked.
After an initial burst of business activity following the end of COVID-19 restrictions, economists say recent data indicates a possible slowing of momentum, with imports contracting, industrial output falling short of expectations, and youth unemployment hitting a record high.
Factory gate prices, the price distributors pay to producers, fell faster than expected in May as reduced demand dampens the recovery of the manufacturing sector.
That early burst of optimism that we would see a 12-month expansion in Chinese economic activity when the economy reopened, I think that has faltered.
Domestic spending is also down as people are more careful with their money, choosing to save rather than splurge.
Yes, I think there's some hurt from the pandemic. Now many shops sell pre-packaged meals to lower the prices. Because consumption is low, recovery will take time.
And although travel restrictions have been lifted, data shows more people may be taking holidays, but they're spending less. Economists say there are several reasons for this.
One concern is that people are worrying about their job prospect. And we can see a lot of big tech companies are laying off people, and also the private economy is slowing down in some areas, and then deter people from spending more.
Huang says he's just happy his business endured the challenges of the pandemic.
These past 3 years were difficult, but we survived. Things will become better and better. Welcome everybody, come to China for business.
Despite the lackluster economic outlook, he says he has to believe in brighter days ahead. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Yiwu, China.
Here's what's been making the business headlines in sub-Saharan Africa this week. Societe Generale has agreed to sell some of its businesses in Africa in an attempt to more effectively allocate capital. France's third biggest listed bank said on Thursday it had signed agreements with Pan-African banking groups Vista and Chorus to take over its activities in Congo Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Mauritania and Chad. South Africa's rand regained more than 3% against the dollar this week, recovering steep losses from last month. The country is in the midst of its worst ever power crisis, but some encouraging economic data, including narrowly avoiding recession, has aided the currency's recovery. Zimbabwe's main stock market temporarily halted trading on Wednesday, for the second time in 2 days, to allow time to cool off. That's after the all-share index rose 10% as Zimbabweans sought to hedge themselves against a weakening currency, down 70% since the start of the year. Namibia has banned the exports of unprocessed lithium and other critical minerals, the government announced on Thursday, as it seeks to profit from growing global demand for metals used in clean energy technologies. The country has significant deposits of lithium as well as rare earth minerals such as dysprosium and terbium, which are needed in the production of electric cars and wind turbines. And finally, the cashew industry in Ivory Coast, the world's leading producer, has been plunged into an unprecedented crisis. Farmers, buyers and sector experts have said. Production rose to 1 million metric tons by the end of 2022, creating a stock surplus at the same time as demand tumbled, causing a price slump.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines: Death of Von Paris under investigation. Police find illegal gun in Spooner's K-On. Kieran Winter sentenced to prison for 1 year on 2 counts of larceny. Kevin Williams charged with larceny. Ishan James receives 5 months in prison for wounding. Former BVI premier may be in legal jeopardy after former managing director and her son plead guilty to their charges. 40 people, including 22 children, removed from cult-like church. Internationally, former U.S. President Donald Trump faces a new legal challenge, this time from the government he used to lead. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got nobody. Grandmasters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Bastia in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
With your super handy deals at Hostels Building Center for the month of June. 6,000 watt gas generator was $48.19.09. Now get it for $36.14.32. 6-gallon air compressor was $12.32.02. Now just $9.24.02. 6-foot portable table, that was $611.35, now $519.84. 2-burner gas grill was $1148.61, now just $976.32. Intex Easy Set pool set was $572.94, get it now for $487. Seasons Aqua Coat Clear Finish was $180.22, now $153.19. Super handy deals at Hostels Building Center for the month of June, making home improvement easy.
Welcome back to our viewers and listeners. You're logged on to WINNFM 98.9 on your FM dial. It's Friday, the 9th day of June. And you're logged on to Voices. Okay, so we've had word from the sponsors. We had a very wonderful morning. Great discourse, I think, on what's happening on the ground socially. We touched on something originally, and there are lots of negatives ongoing right now. So I'd like to highlight one of the positive, if I can call it that, and it refers to the possibility or the efforts being put in place by the Minister of Tourism to get JetBlue to provide airlift to the Federation. One of the challenges we've had over the many years in terms of the airlift, the cost, the price, and the seats we've had to pay for in order to get airlift to St. Kitts. One of the things that affected me in terms of my travel or potential travel over, Wednesday, a couple of days ago, there was the thinking that I could join a flight leaving St. Kitts going to Antigua. On Wednesday, that would be the BA flight that normally touches down on Wednesdays and Saturdays before going to Antigua on its way to the UK. At some point, we were calling these direct flights from the UK to St. Kitts. No, it's not. It's from the UK straight to Veerbird International in Antigua, then to St. Kitts to drop off the passengers, then collect from here and go back to Antigua on the way up to Gatwick. And so the organizers of this event in Antigua thought they would put me on the Wednesday flight to Antigua, only to find out that BA no longer has a service on Wednesdays. Maybe it's the off-season. Saturdays only. So their thinking was to get me flying from here to St. Martin, overnighting there, up to Antigua next day. So it's important for us to have these connections. Honorable Marsha Henderson heads to New York despite 4 murders well, that was the negative spin on this. But let me read a bit if I can, because the positive is that we be able to get direct airlift to St. Kitts. We have music festival, we have other events, etc. In spite of what happening on the ground, the band plays on. This week, Honorable Marsha T. Henderson led a delegation to New York City for the official announcement of year-round JetBlue service and the return of CTO's Caribbean Week after a 3-year hiatus. Honorable Henderson is the constituency representative for Central Bastia, where there has been blah, 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 4 murders. Okay, I'm not looking on the positive side, right? Despite the year and concern of citizens, Central Bastia, and 24 hours to the positive. Okay, it's a legitimate concern. It's a legitimate concern, and this course should not be linked to the fact that she was heading off to concretize a deal with JetBlue. I think it's an unfair criticism. If plans were already in place, you just can't just drop everything overnight. I do not think that the minister would be adverse or cold to what's happening or uncaring to what's happening on the ground. And I think at the appropriate times she would give her attention to it. There are times when things happen and your immediate attention is required. It's a constituent, it's a ghastly affair that happened, but to heap the criticism that she's flying off at a time when there was this incident gives the impression that she's uncaring about what happened. She has no empathy, no sympathy. It doesn't matter to her, and I don't buy those. Chris is asking me if I'm sure the Wednesday flight in running. Fella, if you know something I don't know, let me know. Even though I work in the industry, I do not work at the airports. And that is what I was told. So if you, Chris Collins, up in London, know that the Wednesday flight is coming to St. Kitts, let me know. Because that's what I was told. And, I'm gullible most times. You tell me something, I believe it. Right? Yes. Honorable Henderson led a delegation to New York, which included CEO Ellison Tommy. We'll pause on that one, and we go to the public for a call. Call 11 Voices. We miss you. Let's see if we can hit it again and get back in. Tommy Henderson, Tommy Thompson, and Deputy CEO Melanie Marshall of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. Over the week, the delegation participated in key media events to promote the destination. And the call is back. Call your live on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Hodge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dyer. And thank you very much for... Oh, yes. Lord of matches. I didn't mention your name this morning. Lord of matches.
I know how we go from St. Kitts to Antigua. I know you got the Bafferty.
Yeah. So I called out some names this morning and I forgot yours. Mr. Dyer did make a contribution equal to that of Africa. Country coming yet. And now, see what I mean? The other person. Eli X. I'm still waiting on you, eh?
No problem, man. No problem. We don't say what we had to say some time ago.
Appreciate
but I want to thank Mr. Heiliger.
Yes.
Heiliger.
Othniel Heiliger of OJ's.
Yeah, and to come to the assistance.
Yes.
And say what he got to do, and then you could reimburse him.
He did it already.
I don't have any problem with that.
He did it already.
Yes, right. And you could see that somebody who willing to give to you to help the people in the federation, because we need them.
Put in the money where the mouth is.
That's right. Because I want to ask you a question. There's a minister, a senator in government. Her portfolio is to see about handicap and all that things.
The aging and stuff like that. I haven't approached them. I'll tell you why. Sometimes when you go to government for these things, you have the perception you went into government for everything. And they now have to go to somebody else above them, the supervisor, or to the PS. This takes time. This takes time.
That is her portfolio. And she have all right to get to you, find out how do you stand with what you are trying to help the citizens of the federation.
You're right.
And then I could be able to push and see if I could get it done speedily.
You're right.
And again, with the minister who gone off to America, about JetBlue, this was not the time.
Go ahead.
No, because
it's called Voices.
She have people in her ministry who could have gone off and do likewise. What about the ambassador who was the chairman of the Western Cricket Board? He could have got to.
Minister Scarrett?
The advisor, my good friend.
I don't know. You may have a point. I am not saying that you don't have a point and you're not correct. What you're saying, in your estimation, she should not have gone. It's the wrong time.
She should have, not, because you had 4 in constituency 2, and she is the minister of this portfolio. I mean, for Central.
But she's not national security.
Huh?
She is not the minister for national security.
But she the minister.
She's a parliamentary representative. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Show her deal for the people in Central, how much she loves them.
That's how you see it?
2 days. Show people that I'm here for you. I came out, I asked you to vote for me because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to you all, no matter thick or thin. But you see, when we call him on the radio and say what we have, people meet us and say us are the man of evil. But we are trying to help each and every one, because each and every one of us are hurt.
Yes, that is so.
What's going on in the Federation?
That is so.
Because when the Prime Minister went into office, he said he made money in there. But he went into an station and he said he cut the rent. How all of a sudden they are flying upon the players? They have people in office who could go out and do likewise. They have the Minister of Foreign Affairs is out. Yeah, it seems he's living outside.
Well, he's foreign affairs. Where you want to be home for?
he could have been able. To tie up different ends.
If he's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he have to be the foreign, right?
Yeah, he could be tying up different ends. Call him and tell him, man, we have X, Y, Z. Yeah. Could you do after stuff? He could have said, sure, man, I gone.
I see.
Every minute the unemployment going. How much money are you going to call the government or the people in the country, the taxpayers, to pay for them to have a seat?
Travel programs and per diems and stuff like that. It's a costly venture, and I don't know if the taxpayers, there must be people in the accounts department who deal with that, so allocate certain funds for traveling on the behalf of the country. That's part and parcel of managing the various...
The thing I coming back with now, the responsibility that you and Mr. Henry and others took upon yourself to help the needy in the federation about getting wheelchairs and somebody in government couldn't hear the cry and said, look, we're coming to your assistance.
What I understood was said to Ms. Donald is that they don't have a budget for that. As a matter of fact, I made a call to the ambassador this morning. I needed clarity on something. Because I'm thinking from the time they would have made that commitment, somebody should have cut a check to deal with that matter. That is why I said, in expediting matters, what Mr. Heiliger did was to give us a chance to expedite matters. Rather than run behind the government and go and come back because somebody have to sign off and somebody's overseas, etc., etc. There are people on the ground who need these things yesterday. So what you did, what other person did, was to come forward to assist that process rather than wait on the government to not only make up the mind, but find the money for it. We help each other. Tomorrow, I may end up in a situation I need that kind of assistance. I would be happy to know that there are people out there who will come aboard on the same way and not wait on the government.
But Mr. Hud,
yes,
they come to you when they were on their campaign trail, said they on a Labour ticket, on a PAM ticket, and a PLP ticket. And this is what I'm going to do for you all when I get into office. When you get in the office, you do not turn your back on people.
Mr. Dyer, I'm around long enough, you know.
I do.
Listen.
You don't turn your back on people.
When Dr. Simmons was in office, no minister can say I ever came to them to ask them for a nickel. When, what's his face there, the Honorable Douglas was in office 20 years, he cannot say I ever came and asked for him for a nickel. I went to him on behalf of the taxi fraternity, seeking assistance. When Timothy was in office, same thing. Same thing. None could ever say I ever came handout. Because I know how the process works. In the interim, I'm able to help myself. So the holding of helping the folks get these things as soon as possible doesn't mean waiting on the government, climbing steps, calling, going back and forth. I am tired of that. I have tried that. So this is why I thought that this process would be much faster, and as it turned out, it is. Because Mr. Heiliger would have come aboard and cut a check for the amount needed to give to the shippers at that end. I tried to tropically say, no. So he cut the check. He's gone up there in good faith, and the item will be shipped sooner than later. So I understand what you're saying. I understand.
I just hope that everything goes well.
Yes, it will go well. It will go well. If not, you'll hear me.
And coming back to that same minister, she is the Minister of Labour.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of queries down at the Labour Commission office, along with the union. And people out here is suffering of not getting their severance pay. What is the whole why the Labour Commission office and the Labour Union cannot come to agreement to get people who be sent home and people out of work under the COVID cannot get their severance pay money? But they're up and playing dolly riding.
Well,
what type of hat does they have?
Go ahead. It's your time. Go ahead.
What type of hat does she have as a minister? If she was a lawyer, stay in as a lawyer and make money, don't give it up and talk about you're going to help people and then you're only going to help enough you.
Well, I don't have the answers.
Everyone.
I don't have the answers, so I can't defend. Okay? You have a legitimate concern.
I know you don't have the answer, but people out here listening and watching and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to say a spade is a spade. Enough is enough.
Okay.
We shouldn't be crying and bawling every time a program come on the radio to ask what's really going on. Come to us and let us know.
Well, I guess when she returns, they'll have a press conference that deal with the result of her trips. You know, but you deal with a labour matter.
You can't ask the Prime Minister nothing.
How you mean?
You can't ask him no question because he never had the answer.
Isn't he on like Freedom at times talking?
Freedom? It have a national radio station where he's supposed to go and do his thing, but he gone to Freedom, but make his speeches and all that other things.
Okay.
It was a disgrace and embarrassing to the people in the Federation for the speech that he made that asked them.
It was short.
And everybody is speaking about it.
My thing, personally, like to give them space, give them a grace period, because I think he came into this job with certain expectation and he's learning on the job. In all fairness, I think he's learning. I'm not going to get them critique him. Everybody has a right. My thing is to just hold on because, you know, when I start, I'm very caustic with my pen. Right? But we can't all be shouting at the same time. And I think my beard is whiter than yours. So, I've been around for a while,
I don't have beard. I don't have any.
I've been around for a while, so I know I'm being diplomatic, but the time that's called for, one has to be adults, okay?
But things like this here, the government do not have, the minister of government should not wait on somebody who's trying to help the citizens of the country who need wheelchairs and this come forward and show the appreciation.
Yeah, well, it's not as easy when you're in the driver's seat. When you're in the opposition, you see everything. You got 20/20 vision in the driver's seat, and all the various components are, the cogs are, cogitating, and you just can't keep the pace. It's difficult. But you delegate. You have a deputy prime minister with a certain portfolio, and have a minister of this, minister of that, and you have permanent secretaries. It's all supposed to come together. It does not work that way. There'll be challenges. Mr. Dyer,
so
I hope you don't take thing when people say, I'll keep you on the phone too long,
No, man. I kind of know, because I was just listening to what you have to say. So I just call in to say what I had to say.
And thank for your contribution.
I've been hurt.
You did make a contribution to the process, so thank you once again for that, okay?
That's God given thanks and God given gift.
All right, so appreciate that.
All the best. Have a good day.
Same to your news. Yes. My last call out, Mr. Dyer, sometimes complains say keeping people on the phone too long. So that's why I'm laughing. It's another beautiful Friday in the Federation of St. Christopher Nevis. It's payday for some. Thank God for it's Friday for others. It's another weekend party frame of mind. We would ask that our people be mindful of the responsibility on the road. We go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Yeah, good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, let me go here with a different topic now, which is really hot on the streets.
The mic is yours.
And it calls for everybody's attention. Now, we don't make guns in the Caribbean. Okay, but somehow they find their way in every country.
Mm-hmm.
And they come through seaport and airport and other seashores around the island.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have enough soldiers that they can combine with the little bit of police that we got here.
Mm-hmm.
And they can comb the island land around the seashore. They know well then boats don't come in where a lot of rocks are. They come in where you have a lot of sand or beach. So they're supposed to be vigilant around those areas. Don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Stay high up that you can see what's coming in from in the waters. And then you watch them until they reach in a place where you could capture them. While the Coast Guard goes out and you stay out a good distance where they could monitor a good distance from the left and the right. And when they catch people bringing in those illegal weapons, I think they are too lenient with them. Too lenient. Because those people with the illegal weapon, they themselves did not bring them in. They buy them from somebody, some agent who bringing them in the bulk. And illegal guns has been coming here since in the 50s. And you're going to tell me no. This is the 2020s. And they cannot find the main route of those guns coming in here.
There are multiple ways of bringing illegal items into any country.
Definitely, multiple ways is right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at what happened in the neighboring island down there with somebody who was the leader of a country. Look where he been out for drugs. Nobody would expect a person in that position would do that.
That is why I said there are multiple ways and means.
That's right. That's why I don't care who you are. When you come in the port, search everything you got. Don't just say, okay, go ahead, man. No. That is the person who will take the chance of bringing things.
A custom officer of a certain country told me years ago, you can bring in anything once you bribe. And that was a culture. of that country. And they've so you can bring in anything in this country once you know who to bribe.
Yeah, right. Let
so
me
it's
tell
not
you
only the
something.
borders.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I say it's not only the borders. There are methods in place where people circumvent the security efforts.
Mm-hmm. Look, you see that thing near money?
Yeah.
The Bible is right, you know. But money and conscience supposed to go together.
Really?
Yeah, conscience supposed to be in front and money come behind.
I see.
You remember there was a custom officer from Keon, my good friend. And there was a guy going on his way to Antigua, and he was in transit at our airport.
Mm-hmm.
And suspicious look. And the custom officer went to check something, and he had a big suitcase full of marijuana. And them times, you know, well, it is illegal to even take a leaf unless police see you with it. And he offered the custom officer grease hand and bribe. He said, boy, no, I put you to do work, and I'm doing my work. And after that case was prosecuted and whatnot, and he paid for it and do what he do, a lot of people start the custom officer telling him, "Boy, you stupid, you could have got this amount of money, you could have got that amount of money." But the man has a conscience. It's just like when Kerry Packer come down to the West Indies to carry up cricketers up there to South Africa. You know the amount of Antiguan cricketers refuse to go?
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
How many commandments do you know?
You mean here?
Whether here, there, anywhere, how many commandments do you know?
Oh, you mean in the Bible?
Yeah.
Well, I read 10.
You read 10?
But I would put one more, make 11.
Which is the 11th one?
The 11th one is let your conscience be your dictator.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, of the 10, we break them every single day in every which way, shape, or form.
Definitely.
We murder, we steal, we lie, we do everything every day.
Anyway,
and it's okay.
Hold on there. I will listen after your radio because I want somebody to get the do to call in.
Okay, so I appreciate that.
I will listen after your radio.
Right. So we're talking about the 10 commandments that we know of, but they are... And let's call there. Caller, are you there? Hello there. Okay, we may not have a caller. Okay, let's take this call. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Hello, good afternoon, the king. How are you?
Long time to hear your voice, Bernice. I'm okay. Yourself?
I'm here. Happy Friday to you.
Same to you and yours.
It's not
Talk
a
to me.
real Friday like last Friday, but I still say happy Friday. I'm still on the edge from Tuesday morning. What I heard, wake me up about a little after 6. Somebody come calling me and telling me this thing happened on the bypass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're rocking me.
We're still waiting for it.
Yeah, I tell you too. What I want the government to do, they need to drop the 17%. Because I was, quarreling about why they tax now. What it going to tax me.
You mean the VAT, 70% VAT?
Yeah, the VAT. I think they should drop it and let people get to be more relaxed and know what to buy and keep you, healthy instead of, put it on, it's every 17%. And when you look, we're nearly 70 people are going to be remounting, so because like
oh, wait, 17 people go back. What is it? You're right, man.
Cut back on that, look at the food price too high, man, and he getting people.
You're saying,
not to just eat it,
You're saying that the 17% VAT that they add on results in 17 people going to the cemetery every month.
Yeah, people going Birmingham to pass because, nurses and all. A young nurse buried yesterday,
Yes, I saw that.
Young nurse. Because, these things, come from all kind of corners.
Stress, different things like that.
You need to look at it, man. Because, it's really hurting. It's really hurting to the country. Let them go back to the drawing board. There's nothing going to put up and take back down,
That 17% VAT was a condition that the IMF imposed on the then government who had gone to them for the money.
Yeah.
Not even 5, 10, one time 17%. So once you go to the IMF and they dictate how you run your fees so they can get the money back. So they're going to remove that now at this stage? I don't think so. But you're saying that because of the 17% VAT, 17 persons go to the cemetery. That's funny.
Let's not be here, yeah.
Okay, Bernice, one appreciate that. One has to have a little levity.
Now, we play a peaceful weekend, buddy. No gun, no loud young people. Hide the guns, man. Like, hide the gun.
I hope they're listening and they're so guided.
Don't take out your brother, man.
That was Bernice, and she brought a bit of levity to the program today. Sorry I had to laugh. I know we are going through a very sad phase over the last couple of days. Families are hurting, etc. And I just had to laugh on that. So my apologies for those who think that I was making light of a serious matter. Okay? So where was I now? I was talking about culture and the 10 commandments that we're on. But of course, we have to take this call. It's called Voices. Call your live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Hi, the king. Good afternoon.
Pleasant good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. There's a news item which is relevant to the conversation of the atmosphere, this toxic atmosphere in which we find ourselves in from time to time. But I think the Vice President, Kamala Harris, has came up with some financial contribution towards the Caribbean for the morass that we find ourselves in. I know
Which morass?
Nothing new. The U.S. are aware of. But I think a case was made, and I heard our Prime Minister said that, like, guns are not made here, and I think they took that case to the U.S. authorities. And so Ms. Kamala Harris has decided to come up with some monetary program, in the amount of $100 million or more. But most of that money would be dispersed to Haiti.
To Haiti?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know about a month ago, we got a Coast Guard. I don't know if that is a part of the program. But we got a Coast Guard. How do I know that? I met a gentleman coming from the airport, no name's called, and, and taking him to the hotel, he said he was on an operation that, blah, 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 blah. So we had gotten this Coast Guard along with another 2 islands. I think it was probably Chi Coast Guard the U.S. would have given some of the islands. So we were one who benefited from it. Yes. And while at the Port Dante, I saw some operation of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I think half of that 100 million or a little over that 100 million is going to go towards Haiti.
No problem with that.
And no problem at all. But, for too long, for far, far too long, and this is some of the U.S. policies, and that is why they are not favored in the world anymore. They are not favored in the world anymore. Because they would have see things pulverized, they would have know things, and a part of their policy, they would want to get the nations at their lowest.
At the weakest.
So that AIDS and everything like that, and there's no way they can benefit from these countries in terms of their resources. And so they would want to catch you in a hole. You trying to dig yourself out of the hole is so difficult that they will come to assist you out of that hole, and that is where you would owe them for life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the doctors have a way of telling people. They told me, my doctor told me that I will have to be on this medication for life. I say, hell no. I will not be on this medication for life. I'm going to prove you wrong. Today I'm not on no medication because I'm a disciplined person. And I know nature would assess me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying all of that, the king, to say that the lion's share of that money is going to go towards Haiti. And Haiti must always be in the news. Haiti will always be in the news to us, the other nations in the Eastern Caribbean. And you notice we don't have a voice when it comes to Haiti. as CARICOM, as a member of CARICOM, Haiti must always be an example to us to say, well, if you don't behave, you'll become as bad as Haiti and worse. So behave yourself. Just like how they broke our people, our women, bearing our children, bearing us, she would not want us to be exposed to being lynched or hanged. So she would tell us, behave yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we ought not to behave as children, but we have the spirit of resistance when we must resist and when we must behave. And when the time comes for us to resist, we must resist. We must know this is a yoke of servitude that will have us in bondage forever. Like how the doctor told me I will be on these medications forever. And we must say, hell no. We want to be free. We are free people. We're born free. And we must be free.
Got you.
By any means necessary.
No, got you.
Yeah, and so follow up on that news item. And I know our Prime Minister has made the case and to stem the flow of the guns and everything like that.
Yes,
That's
I know about the
all the
vessel.
way down to our benefit.
All right, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. As part of the interdiction process, that vessel that you mentioned has a better capability of tracking smaller vessels along the coastal region. So, as the PM alluded to a couple of days ago, during one of the it was the Commissioner of Police, I think. They referred to that vessel that has been added to the crime-fighting efforts in terms of patrolling the coastal region. We're going to take this last caller, then we go to a word for sponsors. But caller, you're now live on Voices.
Hey, good afternoon. Socrates, how are you doing?
Sister Henry, I'm wonderful. Good to hear your voice. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, giving God thanks, man. I went to go get blood tests and kidney tests and all of that. And I give God thanks for it.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yes, because at least I do have to pay for it.
There you go. You want to pay your dues already?
That's what I mean. I told somebody yesterday, I said, look, I paid my taxes,
Already,
my
yeah.
social service levy tax.
Yeah.
So I give God thanks. Good afternoon to Terry. I met Terry. I've seen Terry for so long.
Terry Adams?
Yes, man. A good comrade, Terry.
I haven't seen or heard of him for
He's
some time.
done with politics. He's done with it. He's done with all form of it.
I see.
I met Emil Davis, too. Now, there's something called social responsibility, right?
Yes.
Now, we have associations of people from our islands, in other islands, who make donation of different things. It might surprise some of us to know that many of these people who make the donations are worse off than us.
How so? Those who make the contribution are worse off than we are?
Yes, some of them are, but they're willing to put their dollar. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand, yeah. Okay, I wanted clarity on that.
Yeah. Some of them have jobs, that low-paying jobs, but when they hear St. Kitts and Nevis, they are moved.
Make the effort, yes.
So we have the idea, well, they're in America. Not everybody in America well off, darling. Anybody who live there, Virgin Islands, not everybody well off.
That is true.
Some of them packing shelves too, cleaning floor and stuff, but they have
2 jobs.
a sense. Yeah?
2 jobs.
2 and 3. In those countries, I tell you, when you fall asleep on your feet. So I am saying that to say, we are the recipient of the things that they send. The other day, Nevis got some stuff from Canada. Even the Taiwanese, you think everybody in Taiwan well off? Taiwan is an agricultural country too, People growing the potato, whatever. So whenever the country give you, it is the smallest man in Taiwan who is making a donation.
And we have to
Some of
appreciate
us,
it.
we're waiting to hear what somebody give. Nobody tell you must give what other people give. And the Bible has a principle, give, and it shall be given unto you. Press down, good measure. The same measure, you measure it out.
Meet it out to you also.
Good measure, shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. It didn't say God, So I'm encouraging people to make a contribution. It's not for me, for sure. And I show Socrates, never Socrates.
Did you hear?
All the men and women out there, all the people who need the AIDS, Some of them could make a donation also. As well if you can't, you know. Now I want to commend the Moravian Church. I heard on the Israeli news that they are celebrating their 246th year. Let me say it again. I want my good friend Journey and the rest to hear. 246 years. Which means they came in 1777, I think. And they were the first set, we like to stop, and they bring the Bible and whatever. They came with this thing to educate our people. All in slavery, they were educating, you know. Do you know that?
I know that the churches brought the first school education to the people. And
and even
that's a whole different
after,
debate, a different time, but yes, that's established as a fact.
Right, and even after emancipation, there weren't just some people that throwing in people to teach. They had their teachers trained in Antigua, and the church, you see, there was built by the slaves and the other people, putting their little penny and the halfpenny. The same thing with the Methodist
by
church.
the enslaved. By the enslaved.
Yes, you don't know that?
They wasn't enslaved, they were enslaved. You know, different that.
Well, enslaved, owned by people. The Methodist church too, the Wesley one.
Of course.
Is the ordinary enslaved people bring the penny and the halfpenny. So I want to commend the Moravian church, because sometimes we say, and they do us this and they do us that, and we overlook the good that some do. Who do wrong should be cautioned, warned. Who do good, we should commend. So I think they say sometime next week they're going to be having a big celebration.
Who?
And I think the
Oh,
nation...
the church. Okay.
Eh?
Yes. That's correct.
The nation owes the Moravian church a debt of gratitude. When other people felt that we must not learn to read, they did. Even when they went to St. Thomas, they entered themselves into slavery, you know. Do you know that?
Nope.
Oh, check it out. They had to go in and work on the estate as slaves along with the Africans. So to all the Moravians, I commend you and all of you who could help to support. So the next time you pass the church, say, look, that is our church.
Our church?
Yeah, our church in terms that we build it.
Okay.
And the Wesley Methodist Church, that is our church.
Okay.
All right, then, some commendation to the Moravians.
Before you go say hi to Rosemary, she listens and she's very much taken with you.
Oh, hello, Rosemary. May the Lord bless you. Remember the scripture I said? As you give and other people give, God is going to cause other people, not God alone, you know, to give into your bosom.
Okay.
Because I have experienced it. Sometimes I want something and one of my brothers says, Sylvie, I send this answer for you. You know, right now I need it on your phone, or my phone case.
We can work on that.
And I believe that God is going to send it. Somebody, come and say, men shall give. So thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for the groups in Canada. My sister-in-law, Jean Skeet, I've been trying to call you. There's a group in Canada. There's a group in New York. There's a group in Washington, D.C., a St. Kitts Nevis group. I want to express my thanks. The way you help us, coming from me and from the Association of Persons with Disability. And we encourage people to also help to support the association. We are looking out for you. Socrates and others are looking out for you. Time enough we begin to understand we need to help ourselves. It's not always the government.
That's my stand. That's my stand.
It's not always. In fact, some things should not even be the government. Because you're getting them free. You know, my friend told me she had promised me a wheelchair. So when she saw the price, you know, she said $500. Do you think not cheap, you know?
They're not, of course.
And we give them to you free. We don't ask you who you back, who you what color, if you what your salary is, what your pension is, you know. And the Taiwanese, we need to thank them. I think they gave Nevis 15 chairs the other day.
Okay.
So thanks to all those who donate, whatever, those abroad and those at home. So God bless you as you donate. Thank you very much.
You are very much welcome. Now, at this point, we must pause to give credit to our sponsors for, their patronage.
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cashback for free groceries with every hire purchase. Will be given back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cashback coupon to all our hire purchase customers. This coupon season starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Outside Summer Sale event at Hospital's Building and Navy Centers. Don't miss out on the Outside Summer Sale event happening now at Hospital's Building and Navy Centers. With summer officially here, we're offering great deals and discounts on a wide range of outdoor summer items. Take advantage of our 25% off on selected products throughout the month of June. Sale items include barbecue grills, coolers, pools, swimming accessories, veranda chairs, fans, portable and stationary AC units, and much more. We have a wide selection of outdoor summer items available at discounted prices. Visit Hospital's Building and Navy Centers to take advantage of our Outside Summer Sales event happening now. Remember, selected outside summer items are 25% off. Enjoy the summer season with great deals on outside outdoor essentials. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
At 13 minutes done past the 1 o'clock hour, it's Friday, the 9th of June, and you're logged on to Voice. We want to wish all of listeners, the entire Federation, a great, wonderful weekend. Of course, it's party mode and all the different things, but just be safe. Just be safe. I saw a clip earlier today about of a young man walking downtown in front of traffic. It was on the Bay Road there, off to where the cruise building was, ahead of the traffic, approaching the traffic lights, and he appeared to have a weapon in his hand, just walking casually. And he brought home the discussion, which is centered about mental health in the Federation. So we have many, many challenges. We have many, many challenges. 2 days ago, I was at a circus. Another young man was there trying to wash another taxi driver vehicle, and he was stopped. And he threw his bag with all the stuff in the street, bottles. Now, this is a person I've known for many, many, many years. At the times, he would be at what we call the Crazy House. And the times on the street. So we have many, many challenges. And we get so desensitized by these issues. We turn our face and we don't look. It doesn't bother us directly. But we have many challenges. Many, many challenges. And our people, just need to take time out and assist each other where we can. Right? So we're winding down, and I know we were having some calls, and we took the commercial break. But 662-0989 gets you in on the conversation. 466-089 gets you in also. I know people call me or text me, say they've been trying to get in, but they can't get in. Sometimes the lines are not active. Other times when they are, that's when you try to get in. And the frustration builds because I tried to calling and, we try. Right? So we ask for prayer for our federation. We ask for prayer for those in St. Lucia facing similar challenges, for our brothers and sisters in Haiti, whatever the situation is. The last caller second to last caller alluded to a financial package sent for the region, where some patrol vessels would have been donated. There's a dollar figure for all that, where we received a smaller patrol boat, which the Coast Guard are happy to use in the interdiction process. The question as to where are the guns coming from, this and that, there are many, many methods by which illegal firearms can get into the Federation. Let's hear what this caller have to say. Caller, your live on Voices.
Hi, good afternoon, the King. How are you?
Wilma, good to hear from you. I'm okay.
Yes. I'm waiting for you all to come and pick up the donation and the wheelchair.
Okay. Where are you situated? I'm gonna come myself.
I live in Taylor's Village,
Same
just
place?
above the beach island for Sure.
Same place, okay. When I leave here, I will pick up my vehicle and come there myself. Okay?
Okay,
I appreciate it the person who asks for it, they need to call me because they call me on my phone, but I don't know where they are. I didn't save the number. It's 662-4, right? 462-990. So say, Henry, if you know the person, have them call me. I'm going to leave here now. Go to Port Zante, pick up my vehicle. Go to Taylor's, pick up the wheelchair and the donation. And, so thank you for calling once again. I'll see you in approximately 40 minutes. No, about...
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wilma. Appreciate that. There you go, Sister Henry. You would have heard that, okay? The person who called from, you say, was Green Tree, or was that person from the College Street area? Have the person call me. I will go and pick up the wheelchair. And, okay? So, that's how it is sometimes. Right? So, porous borders. How do these illegal firearms get to the Federation? And from time to time, we hear about incidents at the customs or the various ports where this was found out. There are so many methods. And this conversation becomes center every time, well, it's down front and center every time we have these incidents of spike in violent crimes and the gunman, then where they get him, And you will never find the answers to that because every method the security forces use to stop these or control them, people find alternate means to get them in. The problem we have as a society is knowing and determining is not my business. Seen and not seen. Now, there are incidents where persons who would have brought forward with information, those who were waiting to give evidence in these matters at court would have lost their lives. We cannot deny that. So that fear that people demonstrate, I don't want to get involved, is part of the culture of when we started giving control of the Federation to people who intimidated us. The police spoke about a witness protection program, and I know there are persons who were sent overseas in that program until the matter, but there's still that fear. And there has been accusations or allegations that persons within the police force were also sharing information with persons who had interest in the case. So we have to decide. There are certain hotlines that's supposed to be confidential. They can be utilized. Somebody sees something and they tell somebody something, you can be part of the solution by approaching the authorities. If they have confidential hotlines, you call, you share information, it's going to make a big difference. But you say it's not my business, it doesn't concern me, it is your business. It is every one of us, each and every one of us, responsibility to be part of the solution. You can't have it both ways. You may try, but it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. So we ask at this particular point in time, as has been asked before, for everyone to be on the same page if we really want the solutions that we're talking about. The blaming and the saying is this fault, that fault, and this government and that government and past government used to do it too, makes no sense. But we are so small and we are so politically polarized that we hold our corner. Some time ago, I got a joke about some passengers heading west on a vehicle. And the whole debate came up about what the government was doing and who was getting this. And somebody said, yes, and all of a sudden, Socrates silent. And when I got the joke, I laughed because I want to know, what does it have to do with me? But he said to me, there were people who were looking for responsible persons to address certain matters that they themselves don't feel equipped to deal with. So in that vein, we are each and every one our brothers and sisters keepers. We go back to the phone lines, call live on voices.
Yeah, the King.
Yes, sir.
I have to come back with this one here.
Let's hear it.
The word distrust that they're in existence for a load of years.
Very powerful.
Definitely. And I heard the elders, greater elders than me said there was a police in the force and he was working on Sandy Point. And he was the station sergeant. And this happened years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When they used to come and just walk in your yard and hold you because they smell hamon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they happened to go down fig tree and they went in a yard. Because they get report that the people them down there selling hamon. And when they went in the yard, he went down there with two police. Yeah, two police in less position than him. And he stand up one place and he telling Socrates, you dig there. And he telling Control, you dig over here.
Mm-hmm.
So you digging over there and I digging over here and he's standing up one place here moving.
Right on the spot with the software.
And when he feel like he satisfied the people with the fake impression that he really concerned about finding the hamon.
Yeah.
He said, nothing there, let's go.
He was standing on the spot where the contraband was hidden.
Wait on it.
It happens.
And when he signed out in the night, he went right back down there and get his hamon out of the spot.
Precisely.
You see now, the other two men, they may not know that he know that the person was selling hamon.
But he's the senior rank. Tell you where to go and look and where to look. And he knew very well where he was standing was right where the contraband was located. It happens.
Okay. So you got what you call distrusters and squealers.
Distrusters.
Anyway, let somebody else get the last couple of minutes.
Okay, culture.
I'm to listen up here, man.
Yeah, I was talking about, you can listen off here. I was talking about the commandments. There are actually 11. And the 11th commandment is, thou shalt not get caught. You can break the 10. We break them every day. But it's only when you break the 11th commandment, getting caught, people know. And you'll hear, oh, he doing this in a long time. Long time he saw and this and that, because you broke the last commandment. Let me go back to the phone lines. Call your 11 voices.
Socrates, good afternoon.
Welcome to the program. How are you doing, sir? Beautiful.
All right. Blessed in Jesus' name. Greetings once more in Jesus' name. He who is the only Savior of his chosen sinners. Save them from hell and from their sins. And his second person of the eternal Trinity.
Amen.
So, Socrates.
Sir.
Amen. Socrates, with all due respect, and like I've always been saying for many years now, by the grace and spirit of Jesus Christ, that the only solution to all of our problems is the Bible and doing things the Bible way. There is no other source for the solution and answers for all the evils and problems and confusion that are plaguing us. Only the Bible has all the answers. And I'm going to say this. At least 99% of what people are recommending, such as government coming down on guns, making guns illegal, making drugs illegal, and that sort of stuff, goes contrary to the Bible, irrespective of what people think. And these things, in the end, are part of the problem and not part of the solution. Government putting cameras in every nook and cranny, as though we have not read 1984 written by George Orwell, when government become your big brother.
Yep.
A very dangerous thing, more than the criminals, because governments, when they become dictatorship and that sort of stuff, they are the worst criminals. And the last thing you want is to be trading your security. It's to be trading your freedom for security, because when you trade your freedom for security, you end up with none of them. And people don't realize, but government having camera here and there and everywhere is what you call a big brother government that George Orwell wrote in his book 1984. People should read it and even look at the movie. And like I said, we are recommending such thing as making guns illegal, and hash punishment and hash for guns and hash punishment for drugs, and that's all of these go contrary to the Bible and are actually a part of the problem rather than a part of the solution. We need to know what the Bible teaches about dealing with crime. We need to know what the Bible teaches about the judiciary system. We need to know what the Bible teaches about government, economics, and that sort of stuff, because therein lies the solutions to all our problems. But above all else, our heart must first get right with Jesus Christ in true repentance and obedience to the Bible. And repent of all of our sins and of all of our disobedience to the Bible, which we have no interest of doing.
Nobody can say you're not being consistent with your message, and one appreciates that. You speak to your faith, and you believe that the solution is not found in man. That's what you're saying, and I appreciate that. Okay? Yes. Thank you so very much for that, Gregory. And that's a positive note to end on, but we have another positive note to end on. Still in the studio, and somebody came to the studio, made their way up the stairs, and opened the door and gave me a contribution of $50 towards this whole effort to get wheelchairs and assist our folks here in the Federation. I asked the lady, because she clapped the door, I asked her, from whom? And she says, don't bother with that. It's So here we have another citizen, I won't say it's a civic duty, but reaching out to assist with the process of assisting our less fortunate. We don't have to depend on government. I don't know if I see the lady again, if I'll recognize her. She just pushed the door and gave me $50 towards this cause. Sister Henry, Mr. Dyer, we don't have to depend on the government for this. Lady, whomever you are, thank you so very much. The persons on the other end who are receiving this, thank you from the bottom of the heart. It's a circle of love. It goes around, it comes around. So whomever you are, thank you once again so very much. We're getting closer to a target of over 3,000 US. Mr. Heiliger, thank you for offering the assistance by way of giving that check of over $1,000 US to send to the shippers in New York. So that's been handled from that end. We just have to collect now and reimburse you. So I got $50 now, Queen Face in it. And so Dwight Venner for filing it, given to me by a lady who just came to the door. I asked her from whom, and she says it's right. So thank you once again so very much. We're at the end of today's program, today's broadcast of Voices. It ended on a very positive and high note, and that's what we want. Some good news, some positive vibes to get us through the weekend and beyond. Guys, say with prayer, it never failed you. Stay safe. Want to wish you the best of the rest of tomorrow. I may see you again on Monday. God bless. Be safe. Bye.
June is the month of fathers and dads at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Home Store. So come now for their dad deals and discount sale event during